Join us on Now We Consume. Take in the knowledge, take in the laughs, indulge in the topics with us. The Now We Consume podcast will take you through the parts of your day you normally dread. Why suffer through the existential crisis of life alone when you can do it with us? And now we consume.
This is not meant to be a conspiracy episode or podcast, but we may cover some topics that dance that line like a toddler dances on their mother's last nerve. This podcast is rated I, for immature audiences only.
Welcome to the Now We Consume podcast. I'm your host, Pip, here as always with my co-hosts, Gibbs and Gibbles.
Hello.
Howdy.
We are here for a very special episode tonight. This is our 1-year anniversary show. We have been doing this now for a year, more or less, since we had to take that little break. But 1 year ago, we took the walk down the path and started this show up, and it has been a great experience, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So I want to say thank you to the people that have supported us this far. We literally could not do it without you. And here's to several more years, hopefully. Gentlemen, any other words you want to throw in there?
No, it's been fun and traumatizing at the same time.
I like pie.
So before we dive into the topic, we did have this episode building up for a while. We had been working on some other stuff, but life has just been absolutely flashlighting us left and right. So the companion video that we wanted to do for this episode, unfortunately, just did not make the cut. So we're just going to shoot the episode, and we'll have some nice little video clips to throw in. So if you want to catch the video on YouTube, by all means, it'll be there for you.
We're taking our lessons we've learned from that video. We're taking our lessons and stuff like that, and we're trying to apply that to future content.
Yes.
So all that effort did not go in vain. We're still working on stuff in the background. We've just learned that the image and what we had in our heads is going to require more work than we originally anticipated. And so we're trying to redouble our efforts to make sure that what we do produce is going to be of quality.
Right. Which, if you guys have seen the advertisements lately, you've seen that I've been using the AI generated stuff to animate Mansley, our mascot there, and I think they've been looking better.
Yeah,
I've been enjoying putting him in different situations and whatnot. So it's coming along. So we're just going to keep building on that. But two little bits of news that I wanted to share. First off, our last episode, we mentioned a partnership, or a sponsorship rather. W Energy has agreed to sponsor us. They are obviously an energy drink company, and we did not want to agree to do the sponsorship until we had tried them. These two are still waiting on their stuff. I got mine earlier, and I've been trying it all week. This stuff honestly tastes like Kool-Aid. I did not want to like it as much as I did. And
now, real quick.
Yes.
Are we talking Kool-Aid from up north, or are we talking Southern Kool-Aid?
I'm going to say like the Mason-Dixon line Kool-Aid, because it's really good, but it's sugar-free. So I don't know.
Oh, well, then it'd be more northern Kool-Aid, Dan.
Yeah.
Because the stuff down south, you're going to have diabetes.
Yes. But I'm a caffeine whore, and this stuff has been working quite well. So as of right now, we do have a code, CONSUME10. We'll get you 10% off. If you're catching the episode right now and you want a little extra, for the rest of the night, it'll get you 30% off. But after tonight, into December, it's back down to 10%. So, help yourself. Give the stuff a try. They've got lots of different flavors, and they have sample packs. So go for it. Secondarily, our live show. If you haven't caught towards the end of the last couple of episodes, we've been discussing, we have a live show coming up towards the end of summer. It'll be Labor Day weekend. It's looking like it'll be here in Lancaster, Ohio. And We're still working on all the details, but as they come out, we will be bringing those details to you. So once that is more solidified and more concrete, we'll get those details out to you guys. But it should be a lot of fun. So now tonight's episode, the implications of time travel on society. This is something that we have been wanting to do for, oh my God, so long. This was in our first season to do, and we wanted to hold off on doing it until we had the time to get it right and do it well. So we're going to go down a few different routes, and we're going to cover a few different levels of this. Everything from Time Cop, Futurama, and even the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the multiverse, because they're all relevant. They all kind of touch tips on a lot of things, and they bring up a lot of different viewpoints. So, Gibbs, you were talking about something the other day that, or maybe it was Gibbles, I don't remember, that had... Oh, it was Back to the Future. So Gibbles. It was Gibbles.
Yes. Yeah, that would be me.
Yeah.
Yep.
You were saying that Back to the Future is more along the lines of the MCU time.
Well, it depends on how you looked at it, because not from the fact of how they showed the timeline for, like, you know, the sacred timeline, and then you get the explanation of Back to the Future of when they're back in the 80s and they're trying to get back to the present. And, you know, they show that just in the same way, you have the main timeline going, and then you have branches. And if you end up in one of those branches, of course, now good luck getting back to the present where you were starting, because you changed something in the past. So now that branch is created.
Okay.
That's where I was saying they were more similar.
So, yeah, I get what you're saying. So that's like the prime timeline or the sacred timeline. Okay. To me, that still seems like multiverse theory, where whatever you do there just creates a different shoot. And it's no longer the sacred timeline that you're in. It's going to be a different universe altogether. So, and that's not unlike Rick and Morty, which is another series that we're going to talk about, because that also has some very unique concepts. But one issue with time travel, and it's probably one of the more important ones, so we wanted to bring it up first, the grandfather paradox, and that's causality. So if you travel back in time and prevent your own grandparents from meeting, how could you have been born to travel back in time in the first place? Now, there is one caveat. As seen in Futurama, if you accidentally kill the man that you once knew as your grandfather, sleep with the person who would have been your grandmother, because since that's no longer going to happen and you're just fucked up enough of a person to do it for science, and end up becoming your own grandfather in the process. So there is that option, and I don't know that that is something that happens. Time may want to happen, and that's a theory that we'll talk about later, but you've got to be very stupid, very fucked up, and very depraved to go down that rabbit hole. Gibbs, you looked like you had a thought.
Well, I do have a couple of different thoughts with this. Is it really depends on what... Man, I guess, okay, to get into it. It's one of those things where it really does depend on if a multiversal theory, number one, is even possible, because we don't have any evidence of that. There is no way of describing that or even knowing if that's true. So if that is true, then that's something we could go down that rabbit hole. But in terms of making it so that that is possible, I would figure this is something that would have been documented before. If this is something that theoretically could happen, let's just say, that you could go back in time and alter history, that's something that I think we would have seen discrepancies in history, because in order for that to be physically possible, it would have happened in the future and it would have affected now, because we're at such a critical point in our development. So it's one of those things where, sure, it's technically possible, but I think we would have seen it, or at least we've seen evidence of it at this point.
Well, so that brings up a thing that we're going to talk about later. With time travel, if someone goes in and starts like snipping little things, would we ever notice it? Would those changes affect time in a manner that we would, in reality, notice?
Since the invention of the internet, yes.
But wouldn't it affect everything after the change?
No, because it's so well documented. That's why I think
But
for
wouldn't
example,
it affect the documentation?
Not always. then the assumption would be is that you would have to alter people's memories. Effectively, that those memories would never happen. But because you can't go back in time and replace those memories, therefore, that's why I think the Mandela effect. I wonder, like, people have argued that's proof of the existence of time travel.
That's fair.
But
I like that.
It's possible, I guess. But come on, let's be real. If there was a government that figured out a way to time travel, I don't think any of the shit from the last 15, 20 years would have been happening. I don't think that would have been allowed at all.
Or the opposite. Maybe it happened because of time travelers. Maybe they did it to keep other things from happening. That's an even worse scenario, honestly.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Why does it just always devolve back into AI is going to doom us? Because AI is going to be the thing that figures out time travel.
Oh, you know it. You know it 100%.
That's why Harambe had to die, I guess.
Yep, it all circles back to Harambe. Dicks out for Harambe, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Not on stream.
We're all under a desk. The camera can never see.
Fair.
So the Novikov self-consistency principle is something that dictates every time or everything a time traveler does must already be a part of the historical timeline. Therefore, changes are impossible. So you cannot make a change to the timeline because that change was supposed to be made. So you were supposed to go back and make that change. Ergo, you didn't change anything.
But that's assuming multiversal theory isn't a reality.
Correct. That's assuming a prime timeline.
I guess multiversal theory does hinge on the idea of free thought and will. So it's one of those things where if you don't believe humans have free thought and will and can change, then technically multiversal theory doesn't have to exist. But in a world where at least, I guess I go from the perspective of you do have free thought and will and you can make your own decisions regardless of the environment around you and past history. So therefore, I guess multiversal theory does have to exist. But boy, to be able to say that, oh yeah, you can go back in time and change it and that's all part of it. I don't know. I don't think there's any way to account for that.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's any way you could mathematically, scientifically know, unless there's some sort of hitman out there that's dropping the Hollywood elites by left and right out of nowhere. Either that, the Clintons have a time traveling machine, and that's why people just suddenly end up dead.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe they figured it out.
One.
Yeah. So there's the issue of meeting yourself, the temporal clones. And the issue comes into the time cop rule. If two versions of the same matter, you being from timeline 1 and you from timeline 2, occupy the same space, they may annihilate each other. That's quantum entanglement, or a version of quantum entanglement.
Or what if you just turn into some weird goo?
Yeah, that's another possibility. So the existential crisis on that one is going to be, what is the legal or moral status of a past self? If you meet your 10 or 15-year-old self, do you have a right to intervene in their or your life or destiny?
Yes.
It's red pill, blue pill. Do you have the right to go back and say, hey, here's information that will drastically alter our life, and I need you to do something with this information?
I mean,
it's just yourself. So yeah.
Well, even if, let's just say, theoretically went back to the 1920s and gave them like nuclear power 30, 40 years before it was able, you don't know whether morality, like the moral clause of it's going to be good or bad. You can't assign that in terms of, like, if you look at a timeline, there are almost, okay, I don't want people to take this out of context because I need people to understand the context of the discussion. Technically, morality does not exist when you talk about a timeline of events with things just happening. Therefore, if you gave people, let's just say, technology or information, there is no, like, right or wrong. There is no, like, that's morally good or not good. It's what they do with that information that matters. So you could, theoretically, give yourself any information you want. It's not necessarily a morally good or bad thing. Should you? Depends. Right. You know, like put it this way. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would really appreciate it if, like, you know, August of 2001, you kind of told them, hey, you know, stay the fuck away from the Twin Towers. That would probably be nice. People would say, thank you. I appreciate that. You know, not that the government didn't already know, but that's beside the point.
Or counter to that, you have someone that you really don't like and you arrange a meeting at the top of that tower on that day.
Yeah. It's weird. For some reason, every person at the towers was this guy called Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know why. It's just magically. I don't know how. It's crazy. You know?
Yeah.
That was exactly my very first thought as soon as you mentioned that. I'm like, man, Jeffrey, he's going upstairs.
Jeffrey and Hillary and Bill, you know, all three of them.
Just weird.
Yeah, maybe some Bill Cosby to round it out.
Yeah, Bill Cosby and Diddy. They're all having a weird Diddy party at the top of the tower.
Yeah.
So we don't know why. That's weird. There's 5 people and 5 tons of baby oil on the top of the Twin Towers. I don't know why. You know?
Yeah, the planes wouldn't crash. They just slip right on through.
What if you had to be a Family Guy skit of like a plane going between the 2 hours, just like, just scooching out in here, just, you know, just wiggle it through.
So here's a question for you guys, and listeners too. If you could give your past self winning lottery numbers, would that create wealth or simply transfer it from someone else, causing an economic ripple effect? The winnings that someone obtained may have been supposed to go towards the development of some mega technology that would have revolutionized the world. Those winnings instead ended up in your bank account. So maybe somebody that was, you know, like an Elon Musk level of developer was supposed to win that, but instead you made yourself win it, and that life-changing technology was never developed.
So,
well, besides the fact that half the time the lotteries are rigged as it is, and that happens a lot.
California.
The idea that the idea that anybody that's actually smart enough to do something like that would win the lottery, not likely.
Well, okay.
You're more likely going to be taking the money out of somebody that has none, that's devoted a stupid amount of cash trying to win that. And if nothing else, if you're talking, it depends on the lottery you're talking about. Because if you're talking like Powerball and Mega Millions, they're just not going to get as much.
Right.
So,
well, okay. So that's just like an example of it. But what about other market manipulation, cause and effect instances? So, could have butterfly effect.
You know what, though? If you're smart, what you do is you invest in stuff way early on when they're like penny stocks. And you just basically make a list, and that way no one will ever know. No one's affected. No one will understand. Nobody will know that you bought it at Amazon at, you know, $5 a share, and you sell it. What is it up to now? Like thousands, tens of thousands, whatever. Or same thing.
Or you jump in Bitcoin
Apple,
when it was like
Bitcoin, Dogecoin. You know, if you did it early enough, you did it smart. You could do it so no one's negatively affected or adversely affected. Especially if you do something smart, like you make an LLC or a trust, you make an investment LLC with that, and a company, a shell company, everything else. That way, no one has to know who you are. No one has to know where the money's going. They just kind of keep it on the down low. But I do agree that technically there is that chance that, oh yeah, you could be theoretically pulling money from someone else in the system that could be doing good with it. But if you do it in a smart way, it doesn't have to be. Just because you're making money doesn't mean you take money away from somebody else. That's not always the case.
You bring up Bitcoin. That brings up something. There are a limited amount of Bitcoin in circulation. If you go too big, because back in the day, Bitcoin was practically worthless. Could you destabilize the currency early on and prevent Bitcoin from rising to where it's at?
I don't think so. Because think about this. But you don't need to buy that many of them. Like, think about this. Like, imagine if you bought 10,000 Bitcoin when they were like a nickel each and just sat on them. When they were first out there, 10,000 wasn't like a big share of all of them. Even if you bought 1,000 of them and just waited till they hit 120,000 the other day each, that's there you go.
Last month, yeah.
Yeah.
So earlier in the month,
there you go. That is generational wealth created by buying a tenth of all of them that were created and available at that time.
Yeah,
like it's not like
an office space. You get the rounded up. Yeah, it's like office space. You just round up the penny.
Yeah.
You know, it's
you take that.
Same thing as well. There's so many other ones like Ethereum, Doge, and a few other ones that if you had bought in early enough on and just did that same process, by the time, like for instance, if it's right now 2025 and you just had sold all that Bitcoin at a good high like that, you then have so much capital at that point. You can then keep doing whatever you want. But if before then, if you had been investing in other stuff as well, hey, $1,000 there, $500 there, $300 there, whatever, you'd be all set and no one would know. It's not like you have to buy a bunch of capital of it. It's not like you have to buy Microsoft in like 1991 and buy like 30% of it for $10,000. That's not, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. If you can do that, do that. If you somehow can manage to do that, please.
Yeah.
Keep it away from Bill Gates.
Other commodities and goods too. Oil, gold, silver, you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that kind of leads us into the multiverse and timeline mechanics, the MCU and Rick and Morty model, the split timeline branching model, is what is used in the MCU. So when a person makes a significant change in the past, it doesn't alter their original future. It just creates a brand new alternate reality or a branch timeline. Right. The original timeline remains intact. That's why it is the sacred timeline. It can never be changed.
Well, maybe it's the case of I guess maybe the way to look at it's not that it's never changed, is that is the best reference you have. That's like your reference timeline. Because that's your original save point for all the changes that get made. Yes, because it does get changed. It's just the change is supposed to happen with that, whereas everything else is a change that was altered externally.
Yeah. Think of it as a tree. That's the main trunk.
Yeah.
Any change that gets made to the sacred timeline, the main timeline, that's where the branch begins.
Yeah. I'm just trying to make sure we flesh this out for people that have not seen Loki or are not familiar.
Yeah. So if you go back in time, you can go back to any point in the main timeline, and then you can make a change there, and it creates a new reality from that point on the main timeline.
Right.
And the catch there to understand is it doesn't matter the size of the change. It is basically any change from that main timeline dictates a branch reality. And then from there, you can make further changes and make further branches. It could theoretically go into an infinitum, an infinite amount of branches, theoretically.
Yes.
So just so people are aware what we're talking about.
Yeah. Time is fun. It will break your brain. The burden of responsibility falls on the time traveler because the time traveler is no longer just responsible for their own history, but for the creation and potentially destruction of entire parallel universes. It may require the formation of temporal police, much like the TVA in Loki, to prune or manage these branching realities. If they're such minor alterations that it actually has no major impact, does that reality need to exist? Or could it just pollute the time-space continuum, essentially, of timelines?
So let me give you something that'll really bake your noodle.
Yes, do it.
If you create a timeline.
Bake me, Daddy.
I don't like how you said that. We're going to ignore that one. So imagine if you create a timeline with the sole purpose of stealing their resources. Take it back to your timeline and then destroy it. Did anyone ever suffer? It never existed. No suffering ever happened. Yeah. Theoretically, hear me out with this. If you were smart and you were able to create parallel timelines, you can go there. Theoretically, you can go to an infinite amount of Fort Knoxes, steal an infinite amount of gold, come back, and to just say, yeah, somehow I'm the gold king. Somehow I have an entire fucking Mount Everest of gold, and you can't have it.
But then the question is going to remain: when you destroy that reality, are you destroying it at the moment that you took the gold, or are you destroying it at the moment of its creation?
You could time travel.
Because I would think if you're destroying it at the time of creation, that negates the whole idea that whatever you got from that timeline, since it no longer exists, I would imagine anything from that timeline would no longer exist.
But it now exists in your timeline because you brought it back to yours.
Well, now you're creating a paradox, though.
Because then here comes the question.
Because if that timeline never existed, because now you've destroyed it and it's never existed, how could you have those things?
So here's my big question to you. This is, and I know you weren't prepared for this one, but this is a segue that I need to make. Have we confirmed whether black holes can destroy matter? Because here's my argument. Because I know this has been up in the air. If we can destroy matter, that means we can bring in matter to the universe. We can add to it. So theoretically, if we can pull from another universe into ours, that would also prove the fact that with black holes, I know they can take in matter and it supposedly is destroyed. So that at least will allow both to happen. Because I would understand.
But at the same time, but I was going to say, you also get Hawking radiation, which is energy that is being shot out from the black hole.
Right.
But is it equivalent to the energy of what's going in?
That I don't.
That's the ultimate question. Because it would be one thing if we were able to measure one for one that all the matter going into a black hole and then all of it coming out was 1-to-1. We could say, well, then theoretically, I guess in the universe, you can't really destroy matter. But because technically it seems like we can, then I mean that bears some credence to we might be able to pull matter into from another universe.
Yeah. So the law of conservation of energy, it can either be created nor destroyed, only converted. So theoretically, if you're bringing matter, i.e. energy, from one universe into the other, that's only a transference. So again, theoretically, yes, that could be done.
Possibly.
So that'd be one for a Neil deGrasse Tyson level person.
Yeah.
Somebody at Neil deGrasse Tyson and send him that segment of the podcast. But so social implications of infinite realities, just like you were talking about bringing resources, you could also have something like a refugee crisis. Could people from a collapsing or undesirable alternate timeline travel to a better main timeline, creating a galactic refugee crisis?
No.
Like what was that in South Park with that reference? The goo?
Yes.
The goobs or whatever they were called?
The goobacks. I remember that one.
The goobacks, yes.
Get back in
the pile! Get back in the pile!
Yeah. So you've got something like that, or like in Rick and Morty, when Rick fucked up the serum with Morty and turned everybody into the Cronenbergs.
Oh, yes.
Cronenberg, everybody.
But now you've got... Oh, my God.
So, that's a possibility.
Poor Jerry.
Yeah, poor Jerry. I know, right? Although that Jerry did become a badass.
Yeah. Well, yeah. After everybody's either dead or gone now.
Yeah. So the moral dilemma question for that, if you can jump a timeline where your deceased loved one is still alive, have you truly achieved happiness, or are you just using a copy? Again, like in Rick and Morty, where he lost his family and just went to a different reality where they're still alive.
It's a matter of perspective.
His Morty is not his original Morty.
Doesn't matter.
Well, does physics and everything still work the same?
Yeah, but the reality they're currently in, they say Parmesan weird. They pronounce it Parmesan.
Oh yeah, that's true. But that was like the only major change, so they were just like, screw it, it works.
Yeah.
I'd have to say it's still going to be this. It's all essentially the same,
right?
It's just whether your brain can handle the adjustment.
The thing is it even adjustment at that point? Because if 99.999% of all things are the same, there is no difference. Effectively, it's like as long as things are close enough, it is what it is. You don't have to be exact for something like that to have to be perfect. Because you're saying like, oh, did they truly achieve happiness if they their copy. It's like, well, if it's the same thing, if it's what they want, it's a matter of perspective at that point. It's a matter of from their perspective anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys this. If a technology exists that can be used to travel between universes or realities in this case, does the concept of the one true history cease to matter entirely?
Yeah, because there's no such thing as true history. It's just whoever has the best time travel. That's it.
Yeah.
They win.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate I win button. The first nation to be able to figure out time travel means they're the only nation that exists. Because whether it happens now, yesterday, or 5 years in the past, in the blink of an eye, you can change everything.
Yeah, time becomes meaningless at that point.
Yeah.
That's like back in the 60s when the Russians got to the moon before the U.S.
It's like, what am I thinking of? That character from Rick and Morty, Retcon.
Yeah.
That's literally all it is.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Oh, Brettcon. It was Brettcon, sorry.
Brettcon, yeah.
I like the one with the fortune cookie.
Yeah. But, so not only with changing history for, the sake of changing history, but you can begin using time travel for geopolitical and military implications, literally weaponizing time and using it for espionage. You could use time as the ultimate deterrent, because a nation could threaten to erase their enemy's foundation in history. And I think that goes far beyond conventional warfare and introduces the concept of temporal warfare, a battle fought literally through causality. And honestly, I think the existential threat of being erased from the timeline would be something more threatening than any bomb we've ever developed.
Well,
you could literally go to sleep one night and then never exist.
Well, number one, it's the most painless way to die, I would say. Like, you just cease to exist. So
you're not wrong.
It all just never happened. The thing I would point out is I feel like you're making the bold assumption that people are going to follow orders. Because here's the thing, you can't be held accountable. You go back in time, you now have the ability to do what you want, assuming there's no other counter agents going after you. So it's the case of how many people do you think are really going to follow orders, or are really going to kind of do what they want or do what they think is best? It's going to be the problem of you're going to have to hope you got some very, very, very dedicated people to whatever cause you have to make sure they follow out those orders. And then also, that's assuming you know what's going to happen. Because then vice versa, what happens, let's just say theoretically you kill, the leader of some country, whatever. But instead of them, it's someone else that's a warlord, and you come back, and all of a sudden you don't have a country because they declared war first. So it's this very weird problem. You have no idea of understanding what the causality would be. So you're gambling. And so what would end up happening is there wouldn't be big changes. There would be small changes. Things like disabling a country's economic system by making sure your country buys out their rights for oil or something like that, or rights for water, or other things. That way to ensure control at the current moment, not eradication necessarily. So it's going to be, I think, a lot more subterfuge and a lot more a almost accumulation of like a death by 1,000 cuts. Rather than killing or destroying anything, it would be ensuring control for the future. But it would take people that are not always smart enough to understand that, but also restrained enough to not just say, oh, let's just drop a nuke here, because that's not going to end the way you think.
Right. No. Major changes would have far worse consequences, probably even catastrophic, than people would realize. So the changes would have to be subtle. But you could use time travel to deploy weapons before defenses are established.
Yeah.
Or to evacuate forces after a critical event, or even before one. So that could save lives before they're ever lost.
The real thing that's going to bake our noodles if AI gets a hold of time travel.
Well, then it's just Terminator.
Well, no, it's far worse than that, because AI might be the only thing that can actually somewhat reliably figure out what the consequences would be.
Right.
So you'd be screwed. We'd be in a world where before you even commit a crime, AI knows you're going to commit that crime and punishes you yesterday for the crime of tomorrow. figure that one out.
Well, yeah. So that goes into like Minority Report, and that's a horrifying concept. Honestly,
I haven't seen that one in a while. I really should
know
rewatch that.
That's worth a rewatch. But so one thing you have to really consider is if you make a big enough change to the historical timeline, you could literally have tanks rolling up Market Street in New York City during World War II. You could change the advancement of technology and have a lunar colony in the 80s, but the Earth gets destroyed in the process.
Could be anything. You don't know. Especially, God forbid, if you travel back in time, you leave something from your period there. Good God. I mean, there's been several Star Trek episodes about that.
Oh yeah, that's been in Voyager. That's how the chip revolution of the 20th century came to be.
Yeah.
So that was canon. But if a nation develops time travel, would a global enforceable temporal non-proliferation treaty even be possible, given the technology, or given that technology could be hidden in the past?
No. No one's going to agree to it. Everyone's going to shake hands and say, we're definitely not going to go back in time. And then somehow they sign the paperwork, and then it's going to say, every other country but me is somehow going to not go back in time. And then they're going to look again, it's going to say, every other country but Russia is not going to go back in time. And it's just going to keep rewriting itself because everyone's going to immediately go back in time. No, no one's going to honor it. No way.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate genie out of the box. Same thing with AI.
It'd
just be the next thing after AI.
Yeah. Now, think about applying time travel to information gathering and intelligence.
Oh, jeez.
You could have agents jump to the past to record sensitive political meetings, steal technological blueprints. Like literally, you could have a whole fleet of planes that would just be done, go back, get the blueprints, and have them done before the blueprints are ever conceived.
I just like to hear the meeting of like an engineer. So I have an idea. Yes. And it just shows up. It's like, what?
Oh, you mean like this?
Yes. Motherfucker, how did you? Time travel.
Absolutely got this. Hold on.
Yeah. I mean, think about and like the computer revolution. You could single-handedly go back and change the way computers were developed if you could get the engineers to understand the technology. That's the other hurdle. Or discover a future stock market decision that, like we talked about earlier, and make somebody a billionaire or a trillionaire before the term existed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's God. Using it to fight crime, like you had just mentioned in Minority Report, law enforcement could use time jumps to witness crimes being committed, providing incontrovertible evidence, or even intervening just before a crime occurs, such as pre-crime, like in Minority Report. The
that can
thought,
be dangerous.
It could be very dangerous, and I specifically wanted to bring this up with you because being a former cop, where does that touch? Because you have prevented a crime from occurring. So wouldn't they only ever be committed with like intent or premeditation? They could never actually be charged with the full crime, correct? Because it was prevented.
It would all depend. Like, it would have to really depend on how they wrote the rules on something like that. Because if do it like Minority Report style, then I mean, you're really pushing the envelope of, constitutional rights and stuff. Because at that point, you're still, their intent was to do something, but until they actually do it, do we know for certain that's what they were going to do?
Right. Because once that crime was prevented, the crime was no longer committed.
Exactly.
So
are you going to be, you couldn't, from a legal standpoint, unless again the rules are written in such a way that they can still show, like, if had we not done this, this is what would have occurred. Then, you know, I guess you could say you're okay. But to sit there and show otherwise, I just don't.
But then
I just don't understand. I don't know how that would work, honestly, because of the fact that if you stop the crime from occurring, there's no crime.
So
then how can you charge somebody?
Here's my question to you then. Are you then responsible for what your temporal others would do? Because theoretically with the multiverse theory, there's a universe in both where you do and don't do it. So are they just cherry picking? Being like, oh, but in this one he committed the crime. It's like, yeah, but in all these other ones I also didn't. You could the problem with that is the minute you find time travel, if multiversal theory is a reality, you can find anybody committing any crime you can think of depending on the universe. It's just how you find it.
Yeah.
So congratulations with that one. If time travel does exist and multiversal theory exists, reality doesn't exist. It is what you perceive of it. Nothing matters.
Reality is pure perception. Yeah.
Nothing matters.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No. There is no law. You can break any law you want, but you can also then not break it. But maybe break it.
But then you can just go to reality where you didn't break it.
Exactly.
And is that the same principal idea? If you took a gun to your head and pulled the trigger, is there going to be a reality where it didn't work and you're still alive? So then you can tell everybody, "Hey, I survived."
Theoretically. You know what? That's what I wonder. There'll be an entire underground industry of people basically time hopping for basically committing crimes and then going to a place where you didn't commit that crime. Therefore, you did do the crime and you have the money or drugs or whatever. Then you go somewhere where you didn't. So you're innocent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's no way to prove it.
Yeah.
So good luck with that.
So let me ask you this. And by the way, anybody listening, if you have something you want to chime in and say, by all means, hit us up on Discord, hit us up on the socials. We would love to hear your input, especially on this topic.
Talk to me.
So, but let me ask you this. Does the perfect ability to gather intelligence destroy the concept of sovereignty or privacy? Because if the past is an open book, does anyone truly have secrets?
Only the secrets that you think to yourself.
Yeah, your mind is the only truly safe place. So that's...
And I have a dirty, dirty mind.
I think we all do here.
Sure.
As Gibbs has been finding out for at least the last year. Just in the podcast.
Thank God
because I've been traumatizing him for many years.
Yeah, I was going to say, this has been 10 years of non-consensual trauma, so... Thank God we got a sponsor, because I need some therapy at some point, so...
Yes. So...
My God.
On the less grim side of time travel, we have time travel as tourism, the vacation effect. And this is something I think would be the most popular use of time travel. Developing the economy of temporal tourism. Historical theme parks could be a thing. Just imagine traveling to witness the Roman Empire's peak, the Colosseum, the construction of the pyramids, or a concert by deceased legends. Imagine being able to go to Woodstock, if that's your thing. Go see, hell, Michael Jackson's last performance. Go see Chester Bennington's last performance.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, all the greats.
The tourism thing would be awesome if you knew for a fact that traveling back in time doesn't change anything. Like, you can't change nothing.
Right.
So you could send like groups of people back to go see something and know that by them going back, they can't hurt nothing. So then, yeah, that'd be perfect then at that point.
Like, it would literally have to be some sort of a temporal contract. Like, you agree to only participate in the event, make no changes, leave no trace, and then come back. You are there as an observer only.
You could do some serious educational work with something like that.
Oh, yeah. Think about if you could go back to just document things. And we're going to touch on a bigger portion of that here in a little bit. But documenting the past in 4K, as the kids like to say, that would be truly one of the biggest and best uses as far as science goes. But as far as tourism goes, the industry could generate massive revenue, but also create an experience disparity because only the wealthy could really live in history. Because you know that would be restricted to the people who could only afford it. You know, they're not going to let just the plebes go and experience time travel.
Yeah. I just got to go see when they make that laser.
Right.
I think the problem is going to be there, and I do have to agree with Gibbles on that one, is there's no way to prove that your existence there, especially a bunch of rich snobs that kind of used to getting what they want and doing what they want. Do you know how many of them are going to start doing absolutely stupid shit back in history? They're going to call us and be like, oh, let me pull up my iPhone and take a video. And everybody's going to be like, what is this magic tablet? What is this bullshit?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Do you know how many of them are going to get murdered for being witches and wizards? Just like, wow, Bill Gates went back in time to see the revolution and he didn't return. And I have this little note in history that said there was this weird bald guy that, you know, in 1776 that walked up to somebody holding a magic tablet and then he was suddenly shot to death. Like, honestly, that would be probably the funniest thing. It's just your history books being updated and all of a sudden be like, oh, look, we just lost blank because they went back in time and did something really stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my God, that would be awesome.
You wouldn't be allowed to take, you know, modern technology, I think.
No.
Or it would have to be physically attached to you somehow.
So there was a Star Trek episode of what
the Futurama iPhone.
Well, the problem that would have to be, and I remember there's a Star Trek episode about this where basically they used a cloaking technology to have their fortification, like their place, be part of like a rock face. That
was Insurrection.
Yeah.
Sure.
The Insurrection movie.
Oh, yep. I forgot about that.
Yeah, where they were watching from the big ass rock.
But effectively, that's the only way you'd be able to do it. So you wouldn't be able to get close to a lot of things. So it's this problem of you could go and walk around, but the risk of tampering with the timeline would be immense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here comes my other question to you. Do they then say, screw it? And if they know they're going to go back and have a branch timeline because they're interfering, do they just say, you do what you want, don't die, and then when you come back, we're just going to purge the timeline anyway? So, because think about it, if it doesn't,
that's rough.
If it doesn't affect the main timeline, the prime timeline, or whatever you want to call it, if there really is no, I guess you could say, no punishment for it because it doesn't affect your timeline. If there is a multiverse, we can kind of just go back, do whatever happens, and then come back. You know?
Oh my God, it'd be GTA for real life.
It'd be
basically, yeah.
We're going to introduce the Romans to what's called an M16. It's like,
oh my God. Oh, think about taking back like modern technology to some of the big wars.
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
You could see how it played out.
Well,
this is the Battle of Thermopylae. How many Persians can an M1 Abrams run over in 35 minutes? Let's go. Like, you know, let's set a record here. But that's sorry, you go.
Instead of 300 Greeks at the hot gates, it's now freaking 300 Abrams coming forward.
It's just I feel like if multiverse is true and you're able to get time travel and it's cheap enough to where they can do it reliably, the entire industry, I agree, will be vacationing in the past, sure. Time travel is tourism, but what it would really be is rich people screwing with the timeline to make it the way they want. And they're going to have their own branch of timeline. I'm going to call it right now. I really think there would actually be companies that would own certain timelines because they prune them and create them to certain things. So imagine something like the sponsored by Coca-Cola, and it's the Coca-Cola timeline where they turned every ocean into Coca-Cola. You could just go up to the ocean and drink it. And it's just kind of, I don't know, it'd be something stupid. Or the case of like, hey, in this timeline, Earth is 10 times the size. Everybody can buy a mansion and 100 acres and nobody cares. Or something weird. I'm sure.
Yeah, but everybody be little people. Yeah, they'd be short.
I'm sure there'd be a variation.
Like that movie that came out years ago.
That's not specific.
I can't remember the name of it,
I think, is in a movie you're referencing.
Downsizing, yeah.
But there's so many options you could do with that. Just a question of how far can you go? Because I agree with the tourism thing would be cool, but oh boy, it's gonna be weird. Like it's gonna be weird if you're an ancient Rome, just like, oh hi Mark, and you just keep on walking. Like, oh, you're here with the kids too, and everyone around there's like, why are they not speaking Italian? What's going on?
Although keeping on the 300 theme. Xerxes, behold my friend, Bert.
Dude.
Yes, you shall fear
Well, here's
Gary.
I wonder how many ancient tales are really just us sending A10 Warthog back in time to talk about chariots on fire with the ancient Egyptians. Nah, it's just an angry A10 Warthog. That's all it is. That's all it is.
That's no dragon. That's a warthog.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the angriest dragon.
Greek fire is just napalm. Oh, let's see where we at. Temporal crowding, like you were just saying. What happens when millions of tourists want to witness the exact same moment, like the signing of the Declaration of Independence or something like that? This could lead to a massive temporal overcrowding and resource strain in the past. You cannot send 100,000 people from our timeline to the past to an area that cannot support more than 5,000 people.
So,
Right.
might I make an argument here?
Absolutely.
There would be an entire industry for people that can't afford to time travel back, where they hire somebody with a camera on their shirt to videotape everything first person, and that way you can watch it.
Like
So-
an upload.
Essentially, yes. But the idea of like it's a recording. So you could watch the recording
Yes.
of, hey, they sent, at this date, they sent someone back to go videotape, the Declaration of Independence signing from this POV. And they'll eventually do it enough times where they gather from every angle and use AI to piece it all together. And all of a sudden now you can go to like a holodeck or something like that and you can watch it and physically interact.
Yeah.
But
That'd be kind of cool.
I feel like that's the way they go for some of that stuff.
So
Oh,
that could bring up a whole lot of really interesting, just filmed historical archives, especially to view in like VR or
A lot of
IMAX
that-
or something like that. That would be amazing.
If they could find a way to
History
make it,
class would not be boring.
yeah. Well, if anything,
All
at
right.
that point, it would become probably the most studied thing ever. Because if you were able to get history in the level of detail and documentation that we have today, you could spend your entire life just reading about Greece from like 1920 to 1930. Like if it was all documented, let alone history and the previous stuff. Because I bet you there's so much.
Now, do we?
Sorry, you go.
I was going to ask if do we include the smell?
No, we do not have smell-o-vision. You wouldn't be able to get within 20 miles of fucking Paris, let alone.
Paris, like 1800s.
Paris.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what city smells when they knew they were near it? They knew it was only like a 4-hour walk when they could start to smell it. Like, that's fucking bad.
Yep.
Oh, man.
That's so gross.
God.
So let me ask you this. The ethics of observation. Would it be ethical to observe or even photograph historical human suffering, wars, plagues, poverty, as a form of entertainment?
And we already do
Does
that.
the act of observation without intervention become morally culpable? Because if you're going back to see these events, you would literally be placing yourself in the moments of an event that you knew you could do something about. But as a time tourist, you are not able to act.
I mean, it's the thing of like, it again, all this hinges on multiversal theory. If multiversal theory does not exist and your actions have genuine consequences in your timeline, ooh, yeah, that might be a fucking problem.
Yeah.
If you're in the multiversal theory where like if you interact and it doesn't matter, then sure, like you can help out, but then you're risking being discovered and having all sorts of consequences you can't prepare for. But if it's a situation where theoretically you can hop back to the same timeline, then hop forward again, then you really can't touch anything because you have no idea. You have no clue.
Yeah. So let me ask this. Two questions I want to ask. If time tourism became widely available, would it devalue real present-day historical sites and museums?
I don't think so.
It would be again in how you would disseminate the information and imagery to people that couldn't necessarily travel back in time because they can't afford it, or B, there's not enough time. Well, I would say not enough of the technology to kind of go around and set it up where anybody could go.
So you think like take a current historical site and set up displays where someone has gone back to that site and recorded what happened there, you could set up like the live feed version so they could see what it really was like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Instead of just seeing the ruins.
Right.
You know, like if you go to a historical battlefield like Antietam.
Yes.
You know, you send somebody back there to record the Battle of Antietam, and then you put it up on a display there so that when people go to the battlefields, they can see the actual battle.
Yes.
Right.
Which would be terrible.
And then they discover that, oh my God, that dude only had one testicle.
If you go back in time and that's what you're looking to inspect, I have so many more questions. But
right.
It's just more the fact that it all depends on who gets access to the information. It depends on what you find. Because I think a lot of people would be surprised to find out that the history that we know or that we think we know is very incomplete or very slanted and swayed.
Edited.
So you would have a lot of people that are going to find out things that are going to test everything that they knew or they thought they knew. I think there'll be a lot of people having really riots over the finding out of true historical context for things, especially when people used to make decisions based off things that were very incomplete with information. So you're going to have a lot of those issues. Number two, I think you can keep the original monuments and everything to give you context as like, hey, before we could see about the whole picture, this is what we thought. And then you can build next to it or around or even use that as context. Like, so this is what we know now that we can travel back and really see these events. And they could use them as an example of, hey, this is the power of time travel being able to be used appropriately. The problem I see is because obviously this is going to be something that's very expensive and very limited for a long time. I don't think they would use it honestly. I feel like they'd say they sent someone back in time. They'd use AI to doctor up any images or anything that they want, come back and say, oh, it's actually this. This is somehow conveniently exactly what I told you it was and exactly what it will always be. Because we're the government. We're here to help. No.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest problem because no one privately is going to have access to time travel for eons after it's invented.
So one thing that kind of you were touching on, like what we used to believe and what we now know, the monuments that we have, that would be kind of interesting to have like the old world monument next to the new like lizard people monument, because we used to believe it was people running the world. Now we now know it's the lizard people that run everything. So that would be kind of cool.
Yes.
But so here's a question for the listeners and even you guys. I put this in here to find out. If you could travel to a historical time or event on a vacation, where/when would you go?
Ooh.
Gibbs, let's start with you.
Ooh. Well, if I could travel
or
anywhere.
Or Gibbles.
Oh, this is tough.
Yeah.
Oh, man, there's so many good options. Oh, okay.
Now, the only thing is you're going to have to, depends on where we're going and what the setup is. Because
observation only.
You want to go back and observation only.
Yes.
But again, it would also depend on what you're able to bring with you, because you couldn't go back to, like, say, the Jurassic period or something, because the oxygen levels, CO2 levels, and all that is different than it is now.
The assumption would be it would have to be in like recent history, like within the last 10,000 years,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to say, because I would love to be able to see like the beginning of the Egyptian Empire.
Yeah.
See how that got started.
I have a very controversial answer on this one.
Okay, go.
I want to see what happened at Bohemian Grove. I want to know. I want to see. I need to know what's happening. So,
oh Jesus!
So that would be that's my first thought. My second thought was, honestly, do you know how cool it would maybe be to go like to an ancient Roman beach?
Oh yeah,
and just like hang out for a
day.
Hell
Yeah, just walk around and be there amongst the people.
Just not say a fucking word. Just look. Just look around, look and see how people live, stuff like that, and just kind of go home. Just be like, wow, I really appreciate plumbing. And also hygiene products. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, if you're in the Roman era, they had pretty good plumbing.
Oh yeah.
Deodorant, not so much, but they did have good plumbing.
Don't use the toothpaste.
Yeah.
Can I make a side note?
Don't drink from the.
Yes.
Can we find a way, if there is time travel, to bring our mutual friend that's like a fucking mountain back in time to when all like 5'4" watch them shit themselves. like we're all relatively good size, so we could go. And then here's our friend, and he's just lording over them, like just even the stuff of legends. he knows who he is in the Discord. He knows. He knows.
Oh yeah, he does.
Yep.
God.
So I would like to go to some places like the Roswell crash site.
Oh, okay.
I would like to see what really happened there. I would
Come
like
to find out Pip's the one that gets anally interrogated.
That's why you're going.
Don't threaten me with a good time. There's a come button in there. I would like to find out some things, just like some of the more controversial things in history. You know, go see, as much as I hate to say it, the JFK assassination.
Yeah.
So you'd be the jackass with binoculars going, all right, I'm ready.
You'd be the one that building opposite from it, just watching Lee Harvey Oswald going, all
well,
right.
No, I want to watch the driver.
Oh, fair.
Because that video that came out not long ago shows the driver turning around and possibly like popping one off from his left hand. So
honestly, with today's modern like recording equipment and zoom in, imagine being able to get like the first perspective on something that no one else has thought of.
You could re-Zapruder the Zapruder film.
Yeah. English.
Yes, that was a tongue twister. So, but yeah, if you're listening to this and you have a historical place that you would be interested to go to, we would love to hear that.
I don't recommend the Twin Towers of 9/11. I don't recommend that one.
No,
that's a short day.
No,
no,
I don't recommend.
No.
Unless you're that one asshole that comes in with like a parachute. Do a flip. Sorry, I know that's really offensive. But anyways.
He's doing a backflip for Jesus at that point.
or go back to like 15?
Yeah.
And stop that stupid kid from falling in the gorilla enclosure.
Oh my God, we gotta save Harambe's life.
Yep.
If we can
that
do
would be
it.
the funniest no context thing imaginable. Just this portal opens up. 3 officers run in that are dressed in uniforms you've never seen, throwing this kid completely out of the gorilla exhibit, going, "We need to save him!" And he just grabs his gorilla, disappears you, just with the kids at the zoo going, "What?"
Mother's standing there. What just happened? Why is my baby just physically launched out of the gorilla exhibit?
I mean, I appreciate the
Eat the child.
This is the best police response time I've ever seen in my life. I mean, the kid just jumped in like 3 seconds ago, and he already got thrown out. But
the gorilla is now gone, but yeah, the kid's alive.
God. But yeah, there's so many things you could see with time travel that'd be, it would honestly be so much fun.
Yes.
Oh God, yeah.
The problem is the amount of trouble we'd all get up to.
People like us getting a hold of it, taking technology back to like an island somewhere and setting up like an impenetrable pirate fortress. Fuck yes.
See, here's the thing. I would be the pirate of the high seas in the 17th century. That's the problem. I would embrace it. With all
take a fucking modern aircraft carrier back to the 1600s and just sail the seas. What are they going to do?
Yeah.
Not only that, but if you just take like a treasure trove of modern firearms and just have like books on how to do it, and just be like, all right, so I own this island and everything on it now, and you're going to build these for me. And if you don't like it, I can solve the problem. I have to tell you, you can be such a warlord overnight.
Oh yeah.
Though I will say, if I could go back in time and change anything, is smack the MFer that changed snack packs.
Oh yeah.
The chocolate snack pack pudding cups. They used to come in a metal tin.
Yep.
And when you open that tin up, you still had the pudding skin on the pudding. It was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And it tasted like it was cooked fresh. Not this crap now where you can't tell if it's been made last week or 6 months ago. You know, this actually, like my childhood, it's like you'd open that up and God forbid if that ring broke off the metal lid, because then you were screwed. But yeah, whoever decided to make that change should have the shit beat out of them. If I could change things, I would absolutely change that.
Snack packs taught me some of my most valuable life lessons. Learning how to eat those things without a spoon. Yes.
Or try to open it up without cutting an artery.
That too.
Man, now you have me thinking of like OG Pizza Hut back in like the early 2000s when it was good.
Or even McDonald's pizza back in the day.
I never got to try it.
Oh, it was actually not terrible.
There was also the McDonald's spaghetti. That was interesting.
I don't know. Oof, I don't know.
What was that, like Campbell's chicken noodle soup just reheated?
I don't know.
With 3D printed chicken. Oh, okay. So there's something. Imagine taking something like a 3D printer back to like the 80s or 90s.
Oh, they'd lose their shit.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Imagine taking a Tesla back to the 80s or 90s.
It's just far enough back where they would understand the technology and still be able to utilize it.
Yeah.
But they could make such a technological leap.
Because of it,
yeah.
Honestly, even just like
that would
Wi-Fi
be insane.
And Bluetooth and stuff like that. Like
yeah.
They would go nuts with that, especially our transfer and data speeds. Like, holy shit. They were in like megabytes per second for bus speeds. And now we're like, a casual 300 to 800 like gigs per second. Like they would lose their minds.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? I can send someone like a 300 by 300 megapixel photo in under a minute? What are you talking about? Like, it usually takes us 10 minutes. Like, buddy, I could download a 4K movie in like 9 seconds flat. What are you kidding? They're like, what's 4K? Oh, buddy, we have so much to talk to you about.
Yeah. So that's a good segue into the next section. Technological contamination, the butterfly effect on innovation. And this is you were talking about this earlier. Displaced technology and the bootstrap paradox. So if a time traveler accidentally leaves a modern smartphone, say, in 1950, scientists of that era could reverse engineer it. So this creates a bootstrap paradox, or the ontological paradox. The technology has no original inventor at that point, as its blueprint came from the future. Well,
I don't know if you could take a smartphone and reverse engineer it back in 1950 because
it's so far ahead.
That could happen. I'd almost say it's almost too far ahead because of the microprocessors and the transistors and all that. They're so small in the phones these days. At that point, it would be like, yeah, we know what this is, but we don't have the know-how to utilize it in a way.
Yeah, I think you'd have to do something bigger, less complicated even.
Yeah.
Maybe even take it to something like the 70s or 80s. Like we were just saying, a 3D printer back to the 80s or 90s. You could get away with that. But so the effect on innovation, the introduction of advanced tech could stagnate or misfire the native timeline's innovation. Like giving early inventors a microchip could skip the entire industrial and electrical engineering era that led to its creation, making it impossible for them to mass produce or even understand it.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys this. This is something that I came up with while I was getting all the notes together. If the technology is or was freely available, what would prevent someone from taking an idea or a concept that they were developing, say like a game, a program, music, movie, TV show, whatever, but somebody else beat them to market, and going back and getting theirs to market first, or outright stealing the content altogether? If somebody who could actually sing and perform, but never got a big break, were to take all the content from somebody like, say, Taylor Swift or some other big name, and then go back like 10, 15, 20 years before they ever hit the stage, and then drop some of their songs as their own and take the light off of that person, could they theoretically steal their whole catalog? A band like Five Finger Death Punch, if somebody took their stuff and went back and performed it instead of them, could they take the steam away from that band?
Again, that's where you're creating a paradox, because at what point, who creates what?
Right.
Because if you then took that information and then went back in time and then ran with it like it was yours, you're not the original creator of it. So where would that information have come from at that point?
You're just treating it like it's your own at that point.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm just saying, at some point they're going to be like, well, how did you create this?
But if it's
right,
or what idea came about to make this?
Yeah.
But if it's music,
with some things, I think you could get away with it with like music or something like that.
Yeah.
Now, something like a movie, could the same be done to prevent epic movie disasters? Could the Star Wars sequel trilogy be prevented or at least corrected?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, what I would say,
that's a big maybe.
So for stuff that's creative in nature like that, because people, basically how it works legally is nobody owns it until someone files a copyright for it or for that information. Right. So it's one of those things where you could theoretically just steal everybody's music now, go back 30 years and write all of it. And you would technically own it all. You really could. You could file patents for it and everything like that. For movies, what would be interesting is you could theoretically tell this person, hey, here's a copy of the movie you're trying to make. Here's all the reviews and here's the way it could be better. Fucking do better. And maybe they'll be like, oh, that's not panning out the way I thought. And sometimes what happens too, if you're making a movie or making videos or anything else, it's you might have a vision, maybe the publisher or somebody else or someone else has a different vision. Maybe it's due to time constraints or budget constraints, but you could say, hey, here's what you produced. Here's what I've used AI to generate that this should be and would sell and make you more money. Do this. Do better. You could go that route. Or you could just say, you know what, George Lucas, I like what you're doing, but I'm going to take everything, put it all out a year before, so I own everything. I'll patent it all. And that way I can force you. I'll come to you and hire you and say, hey, I'll sell you the whole thing for $1. But the agreement is you have to do it this way. If you don't like it, pound sand. I don't care. And you theoretically could, because that way he still owns it. He still does whatever. You can make your royalties on it, but that way it's more refined, let's just say, or more what you want to do. The weird problem that's going to happen is, do you know how many other fucking crazy nerds are going to be traveling back in time and arguing with George Lucas? He's going to be the most popular man ever in like 1985 when he's sitting there writing.
No. All they have to do is get him to sign a clause, never sell to Disney.
Yes.
Done.
That'd be great.
Yeah. And bring him just pounds of cocaine.
Jar Jar Binks is a Sith Lord. I need you to repeat this after me. This is your mantra. This is your mantra.
Absolutely.
You will die on this hill.
Yes.
There's no way you convince me that he's not just going through that battlefield, just destroying droids the way he did.
Right.
So it could be used for a lot of good. I feel like it could be absolutely hilarious. But
oh yeah,
you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is going to take us to the last section, and I wanted to save this for last. Using knowledge as weaponry. Systemic and cultural upheaval. And this was one of our promotional spots for the episode tonight. The deconstruction of belief systems. Religious and philosophical upheaval. If a time traveler were to go back and observe and record the precise, mundane, or even fraudulent origins of a major world religion, spiritual movement, or philosophical text, could revealing this information shatter the faith of billions overnight, potentially leading to mass societal collapse, wars, or existential crises as people lose their moral frameworks.
There'd be a lot of people dead and overnight. Like, for example, if you went back, like in the promo you did where Jesus came back after 3 days, what if they find out it actually took a week? Because he was just laying out and he was recovering from the wounds. he never actually died. He was just laid out, and everybody kept him off to the side saying, hey, no, he died, but, don't worry about it, because they're letting the Romans think that he died. But you find out after a week he actually came back, but they make it sound like over time from passing those stories along before they finally published said stories in a book, that it went from like, oh, he came back after a week and to down to 3 days just because it made it sound good.
So I want to reference one of our earlier episodes on a very similar topic with that. What if they find out the reason Jesus supposedly was in that rock for 3 days because he was high off his ass for 3 days and he showed back up now that he was sober? Because if you remember one of our earlier episodes, I was talking about how most religions are basically people high off their ass, and I made a very strong case for that. I even had one of my buddies that's religious question his existence. It was a great fucking weekend. So, but what if you find out the majority of those stories are literally just people taking drugs, doing weird stuff, doing things that they don't even know, weird mushrooms, whatever. Like, he was gone for 3 days. It's like you were just on a bad trip for like 8 hours. like to you, it felt like 3 days, but you just had some really fucked up shit, bro. And that's what I wonder is how many of those preconceived notions and ideas would absolutely tear apart most religions, or even some countries too, in terms of like their royal families, for example.
The entire Middle East.
Oh yeah. It'll be a PvP zone. That's all that would be. That's all of a sudden PvP's
all
enabled.
that loot.
That's all it is.
Yeah. But what about the burning bush?
The bedrock of the religion is wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, the burning bush. Yeah, that was crack.
No, you ate a bad mushroom, and you were hallucinating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Either that, or you had one crazy guy in the town that for some reason was the biggest, strongest guy. He said, yeah, sure, the burning bush, yeah, whatever, just don't fucking kill me. Yeah, sure, whatever you say, buddy. Right? It's very possible.
I saw a bush, it was on fire, I was so messed up.
Nope.
Right.
Yeah.
So, if proof of the, air quote, true events were brought back, like video footage, artifacts, or whatnot, how would modern institutions and governments handle the resulting truth-driven global panic? So imagine there's proof of some of these events, pointing out information one way or the other. Maybe they have something that completely disproves one of the major taught aspects of something. What could anyone do to prevent mass panic?
Nothing.
You mean like government cover-ups?
I guess.
I mean, once that information's out there, it's out there, bro. Like, especially with our technology nowadays. Like,
so now let me go a step further. Erasing national identity. There are entire nations based off of faith at this point. Yeah. So a hostile power could travel back to gather definitive proof that a founding national myth, a war victory, or a revered hero was a lie, a fraud, or based on immoral acts. This targeted revelation could delegitimize a current government and destabilize an entire country's sense of self-purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you said, the Middle East, they find out Muhammad was just a normal dude that was a pedophile. And he didn't do any of the crap that they wrote.
Mm-hmm.
Or
that would totally destroy half the countries in the Middle East, or
you talk about China or Russia or any of those other countries that have, very centralized powers. There's some information that could get out there that could really destabilize or possibly even turn them over.
Right.
Or that, like the Kim family, never had any claim to the palace in the first place in North Korea.
God. You know how funny it would be if we developed time travel, we just didn't fucking tell them and kept messing with North Korea? Oh my God. Oh my Lord. I'd mess with them just to mess with them. I could not wait to read those news articles every morning. Like, Kim Jong-un suddenly grows third arm out of his ass. We don't know why. It just, oh man. Oh my God.
Oh shit.
Oh man. I'd have so much fun messing with them.
Jesus.
If the time travel technology got out to people like us, the fuck around and find out of mentality that people like us would have, or just the fuck around mentality, in fact.
The amount of historical photos you'd see FAFO behind them as like my little friggin' insignia, just so people knew, and only you would know if I told you. But you'd be like, wow, it's weird. This isn't like a lot of historical photos. Oh, I know.
I know.
Oh man,
Go back to the creation of the Bill of Rights. No, listen, you need to explain it like people are 5.
yes,
Right? Slavery bad, guns good.
exactly.
Yeah.
Bad.
So you could continually use time travel to undermine governance.
Oh, yeah.
Future knowledge could be used
yeah.
to predict and therefore deliberately sabotage specific political events like elections, treaty signings, peace negotiations, whatnot, ensuring a rival nation gains a permanent advantage or disadvantage.
Yeah.
So you could sit there and just make sure that one nation is never able to get a foothold in any aspect of the world. You could prevent Russia from ever rising to power in any aspect and prevent all kinds of different things. Or China.
Oh yeah.
Or Cambodia. Or Vietnam.
It'd be really weird that somehow history be rewritten where America just didn't stop after we took back Germany. We just kept going. For some reason, I don't know how America just keeps going. It's crazy.
Just kept on ruling, baby.
It's crazy.
Wow.
They just kept saying something about oil and they just kept going.
It's weird. The Eastern Front.
You know,
We
that's
went all the way to Japan. I don't know how that happened. It just kept fucking rolling.
that's a war game that I don't think we've ever talked about is what if the US would have kept going? What if we became the bad guy?
I don't think
We lived
Yeah,
long
but
enough
we're
to
not
become
really
the
the
villain.
bad guy. I mean, we're saving them from communist Russia. You know, like
Right.
we'd be a bad guy, but not really the bad guy. You know, we kind of defeated the 2 other bad guys. Well, really Mussolini too. So the 3 bad guys.
Yes.
Then Japan. So okay, so 4. All right, but yeah, we
Yeah.
could have.
Oh, yeah.
So lastly, you've got economic system collapse, temporal insider trading, the ability to know the precise date and cause of every future stock market crash, economic bubble burst, or currency collapse, like you had talked about earlier. It's not
Right.
just a tool for wealth, it's a tool for economic assassination. A rival power could use this knowledge to systematically bankrupt entire nations, or just outright render their currency worthless and their industry defunct.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about how China, where they are right now, they got there
Right.
literally in 10 to 15 years. You could go back and prevent 1 or 2 key events, and they're still stuck in the rice fields.
Yeah, you just tell American politicians in the 1980s, hey, chip manufacturing like TSMC and Samsung, they got to be making stuff here, not China. This is why, and show them now, and they'd be like, oh, okay, and that's it. You could change entire economic events like that, or you could say like, hey, America, you should probably have like hemp legalized and not have marijuana on like a Schedule 1 drug, and that way all of a sudden all these businesses would open up. All of a sudden America would thrive 20, 30 years before the rest of the country started to legalize them in the Western world. So there's a lot of things you could do that might seem like a small change, but would be fucking drastic. Or in my case, I'd be going back in time and fucking beat the fuck out of whoever was in the EPA for doing the DEF fuel and all the diesel fucking emissions shit. Jesus Christ, whoever you are, you're an asshole. Because all you're doing is fucking up the entire diesel industry. So bad, so they might be getting rid of them. So hopefully.
Yeah. So think about taking a technological breakthrough from our time back to a time where it could be implemented a little bit easier. Something like you were just talking about, like the secret of cheap, limitless energy. If you could take fusion technology where we have it now back to the 1960s or 70s when they were like actively pursuing it.
Honestly, I really feel like if you brought efficient modern solar panels back then and gave them that head start, you'd now have, like, if you brought it back to the 60s and they had another 40, 50 years to develop, today every shingle would be solar. Every building would just have solar roofs, and that would be it. You wouldn't even need external power for most people.
Yeah, but in doing so, you could instantaneously destroy the fossil fuel industry and associated economies, creating global chaos before the new tech is ready for development. So you could destabilize a whole lot of shit real quick.
Yeah, but But we'd be able to be self-sufficient, though. It'd be kind of more of a Middle East problem at that point.
Basically, yeah. But they've been trying to kill themselves for 3,000 years. So it doesn't matter.
Just build a wall around
them. So here's a discussion question for you. We have a situation where if a government were to acquire knowledge that proves a central tenet of a major rival society's existence is false, would there ever be a moral justification for withholding that truth to maintain global stability?
Depends. Maybe. Depends on how serious it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
And even that, I feel like now too, honestly, a lot of people just don't give a fuck about things. So like, if you said that like 20 years ago, back when like our country was more unified, maybe, but I don't think there's anything you could tell people that would like cause everyone to mass panic.
Yeah.
Unless it was like, hey, The Walking Dead starts tomorrow, IRL, like good luck. They'd be like, okay, maybe people would panic, but like, or if it was not Walking Dead, what was the other World War Z or whatever when they run or like if you told everyone tomorrow, oh by the way, it's I Am Legend, fucking good luck. Yeah, people would fucking panic. But like besides that, like
so okay, that takes me back to the people like us would like to fuck around with people. If you are a time traveler and you go back and people know without a doubt you are a time traveler.
Yeah.
Or you flat say, look, I'm a time traveler and I've come from the future. Have the zombies started yet?
All right, first of all, fuck you, because that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. You could ask them, oh, how did you handle the zombie apocalypse? And they'd be saying, what? Oh, sorry, that hasn't happened.
And then
yet.
you just like, and then you just like check your watch. You're like, shit, I'm too early. And then you just like click out.
You know, that explains why the U.S. government suddenly has a zombie preparedness, fucking
right.
Thing.
Con Plan 8888. That's why it exists.
The fact that you memorize that offhand is kind of concerning. But anyways, that's
shush.
Shush you.
Okay, I have some exit questions for the listeners.
Can I make a quick case about something before you get to
Absolutely.
That? So, I wanted to have a quick thought discussion and prove to you why time travel cannot exist.
Okay.
Very simple. In order for you to travel back in time, you have to have three-dimensional coordinates, correct?
Maybe.
So here's the problem we have. If you go back in time, the usual assumption is that you have to know the 3D coordinates of where to be at, correct? Well, guess what?
You're going to play on the fact that everything is moving throughout time
there
and space.
is no relative. We don't know the absolute point. So then the problem is you're going to spend thousands of years blindly sending people back and be like, I wonder if he made it. And be like, oh, he was off by 5 million miles. Because we don't know right now where the planet sits relative to everything else in terms of exactly. There is no way to exactly know that because the galaxy is traveling at a certain speed and our solar system is traveling. There's so many layers of variables that good fucking luck.
So
figure that out.
Let me big brain you for a second. We know where things were X amount of time ago.
Sort of.
So if we stack that equation linearly, we could re-extrapolate back and get at least a rough enough coordinate where we could send test objects.
Yeah, it's gonna be really weird when a banana appears in the wall out of nowhere. Like it's just like you gotta understand, it's gonna be fucking weird for them to calibrate that and figure that out. Especially when you consider, if you look at the way the Earth's mass has changed and like sort of evolved between like different layers of water, different water densities, you have to factor in the moon and stuff like that, pulling it in different ways. If you could figure out that complex equation, you could do it. But that would dwarf any math that we have ever done. It wouldn't just be traveling back in time. It would be find that exact point.
Oh no, we need AI to do it.
It would you would need
we need
ridiculous amounts of data.
We need quantum backed AI.
Yes. So I just wanted to point that out, that there's no other thing I could think of, even a Star Trek or anything else that's ever discussed, that like everything is moving in space in all three directions simultaneously. So you got to factor that in, and we don't have enough data to ever even consider that. So just throwing that out there.
We kind of do. And I say kind of because, again, we know more or less where things were a second ago. We know where things were a minute ago. We could re-extrapolate. So
I guess
again,
I guess the problem is
it's a very complex equation.
there's no way of knowing because we'd have no reference in the universe that's not moving. Everything is moving.
Correct.
So therefore,
Yes.
there is no reference. So you're gonna have to try, but it's gonna be really weird when someone just pops into existence like 3,000 miles away from Mars, just sitting there, and then he disappears. You're like, what the fuck? Like, oh, sorry, we had the wrong coordinates.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened down in Miami, beginning of the year.
Dude, imagine if that was what it was. Imagine, be like, oops.
Yeah.
One of these days, we'll have to cover that in detail.
Oh, we're going to do an episode on that.
We got a few conspiracies we got to start covering. We haven't done any since the Mandalay Bay one.
No, we haven't. We need to
get on that train.
We'll get there. All right. So, questions for the listeners, and this is kind of a two-parter. So you have a ticket to Berlin, 1939. You're able to get in the room with the man. I'm not going to say his name, but you know who I'm talking about. Do you pull the trigger? And if you do, there's a chance that you cease to exist because of the way events unfold there going forward.
I mean, if I cease to exist, it's...
Well, I know I'm good.
Gonna say, if I cease to exist, it's suddenly not my problem. So, like...
And this is, again, linear timeline theory.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. I'd still do it.
I'm pulling the trigger on that
still do it for the greater good?
You know.
Okay.
Take my chances.
So, secondarily, if you go back further to 89, I think it was, and kill the monster as a baby, are you a hero or a child murderer?
So...
And with the idea that time wants to happen, if you kill him, does somebody else just rise to take his place?
I know you're going by the thing of like he hasn't committed the crime yet, but that would be the assumption if there's been enough data to assume that you have the correct like linear timeline and that it's going to happen. It's a guarantee. It's going to happen. If that's the case, then you know, late term abortions coming to a German town near you, but like. Whereas, sorry, I know that was dumb, but if you knew it was linear, then yes. But if it was a branch timeline, then you just abduct the kid and bring him somewhere else.
Yeah. Or just go back further, far into a point of the past where you could just be like, hey, look, bro, I know you like art, and we know you like strudel. How about we go into cooking?
Or make sure he does get into art school.
Right.
It's really weird. This guy just gets like this benefactor that gives him $1 billion in Germany in 1928. Somehow out of nowhere. We don't know how. It's really weird. That'd be kind of funny.
Yeah.
So, okay, here's the next one. And again, these are for the listeners. So I want to hear from you guys listening. What are your thoughts on this? If the government can view any moment in the past, privacy is effectively dead. No crime would go unsolved, but no secret, personal or political, would ever be safe. So would a surveillance state ever be acceptable in any degree if it covers the past as well? Now, I feel like this is a very American thing because we do not like surveillance. Other countries maybe are more comfortable with it.
The problem you have is once one country go back in time, your laws are irrelevant. So like let's take a country that loves a surveillance state like England, for example, right now, with their digital ID and their cameras everywhere and everything like that. Because they can go back in time in England, that means they can also go back in time here. So it's the problem of like once one state can do it, we could technically outlaw it here in America, but it doesn't mean it's outlawed because there's no way to enforce it. So it's the problem of like once it's considered acceptable in any capacity, it's all okay. There's no such thing. So it's like, unfortunately, once you open that Pandora's box, you are a surveillance state, whether you like it or not. It's just
that's like right now. You can't say anything if it's construed as a hate crime. You're going to jail.
Oh yeah, you get your shit.
Well,
confiscated.
There was a guy in England, just so you guys know how like what's going on, why we're referencing this. There was a guy in England that visited America, went to a gun range, and just took a photo holding a shotgun.
I just saw
he got
that.
arrested back in England for having a photo that could offend people that he was holding a shotgun. Which, by the way, shotguns are legal to have in the UK if you have a hunting license. So figure that one out. But the only reason why I'm saying this is if they could do that now without the ability to time travel, if they did have the ability to time travel, they would arrest you for stuff you never did or could possibly maybe kind of sort of do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Go back to your parents and tell you, guess what? You two can't shag because you're going to produce a child that potentially offended Muhammad Ali or, some retard from, that's a refugee on, claiming asylum.
Yeah.
And you might potentially upset them because you said, hey, maybe you should fight for your own country, try to get laws in your own country good, so that way you don't need to come here to ours and sit on the social welfare state. That's just me. Sorry.
Well,
yeah. So, all right, next question. If time travel were real, is history just a subjective narrative written by the last person who changed it?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they always say that history is written by the winners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the crazy part is technically if your linear timeline theory is correct, you don't know whether history is real or not, even right now.
Right.
So
right.
That's the only reason why I say it's not real is just because I feel like we'd see some really weird discrepancies because there's no way they could get it all done at one go. Or at the same point, they did it all over the course of a millennia and we're just living through it. So who knows? But I feel like our history is way too weird for it to be well thought out. There's a lot of weird bullshit that we see happen. So like,
And it all cycles back to 2012. And that
it's CERN. I'm telling you, CERN's first test was in 2012. I'm telling you. Branch timelines. I'm telling you. We got the weird timeline. See, that's the problem. It's the other.
Yeah, timelines merged. We're in the weird one.
Yeah. It's like the cornucopia thing all over again.
Yes, the fruit of the loom cornucopia. Yeah, I remember it. Here's the big one. You have a chance to go back in time to try to prevent the death of one person that would affect millions. You are not allowed to intervene in the death of somebody personal. Who do you try to save?
Jesus Christ.
No, he has
Stephen
to die.
Hawking. I'd bring back Stephen Hawking.
Hawking? All right.
Just because. And not like it's the moment when he's about to die and you bring him back just so he's like, why?
Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. I just want to hear it again. Do-do-do-do.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Unfortunately, sir, we were able to bring you back to live for another 30 years. Unfortunately, you still have this crippling disability that you have to contend with. Yeah, I'm going to hell.
So
I'll see you
your
there.
question is you
I'm
have a
driving the
chance to
bus.
try and prevent the death of one person that will affect millions. What do you mean by that will affect millions?
Somebody's death, like a performer, a leader.
Steve Jobs.
My first thought was going to be Robin Williams, only because he was such an amazing, positive person for the world.
Yes. My thoughts were Robin Williams, Chester Bennington, or Paul Walker.
Yeah.
And those last two, only because they were involved in organizations that were helping people and trying to bring light to some bullshit going on in Hollywood. Yeah. And I still think total tin hat conspiracy theory, they were killed, not anything else. They were murdered. They did not die of self removal or accidents.
Which ones were we talking about?
Chester Bennington and Paul Walker.
They were both involved in a ring to try to expose pedophilia in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly, miraculously, just before they were supposed to appear in front of a judge within a few days, all of a sudden, they were gone.
Dead.
Yep. And you know what? If it meant he could actually go on to talk, I would even be willing to bring back Mr. Jeffrey.
Honestly, to clear all that up, yeah. Oh my God, the surprised look on the Clintons' face when they see he's back. Oh my God, he'd be like the next Jesus. Like, I just killed this man. He's back.
The shocked Pikachu face on Bill Clinton alone.
I thought we killed that man. Oh my God. Oh man.
Where's Biden? I know he's sniffing some little girl's hair somewhere.
Yeah.
That would be.
But I mean, maybe even Kirk.
Well, that
Charlie
was somebody
Kirk?
I was thinking, just because his death has been so like traumatic for politics.
For so many.
Yeah.
But I also feel like his death has polarized a lot of people positively as well.
We'll have to at some point do a politics episode.
We're going to do an episode on him
because that's an episode that's going to be a mainly me thing, just because I've been following that for a long time. But like Jesus Christ,
yeah,
that would be if you brought him back, boy, that'd be a shocker.
Have you seen the videos of the supposed lookalikes of him that get very nervous when you mention his name?
Oh Jesus Christ, maybe
no, Charlie Kirk.
No, oh my God. No, I have not. You'll have to send me those
Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's one or two people that are like creepy, like uncanny valley creepy.
Maybe they're clones. Who knows?
And people are like, man, you look an awful lot like Charlie Kirk, and they get real nervous.
I don't know. It seemed like his wife
Real
moved
fast.
on really quickly. I don't know. Just for
Isn't she banging his best friend?
no. She did mention that JD Vance awfully reminds him a lot about her husband in a very weird way, and I thought that was a little creepy. Just saying.
I saw something about Vance's wife is leaving him. Maybe
I don't know about that. I haven't heard anything about that.
That could be a weird.
About that one.
That could be a weird, round robin.
Yeah.
Vance ends up with
Erica Kirk,
Kirk's
my
ex-wife.
God.
Yeah, Erica Kirk. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Talk about a power couple. My God, when he becomes president in a few years,
I don't know if he will, dude.
she's the new first lady. I don't think he will either. I think we're going to end up with somebody that's just worse than anybody we could imagine.
Yeah. We'll save that for an episode.
But that's a topic for another show.
But
Yes. Then we will need time travel.
I know.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing with JD Vance, though, where they're talking about divorce and all that only came about because apparently back in November of 2025 of this year, she was at Camp Lejeune and she didn't have her ring on.
Okay.
It happens. Especially when you have little children.
I would say
Yeah.
let's leave all that for the episode because that's going to be a whole.
Yeah.
There's a lot with that
You
one.
can't have a woman like
Yes.
her around a whole bunch of Marines not have a
Oh,
ring on.
Jesus.
That is true. But
I'm
that would
just
be of
saying.
any of the branches, really.
That's true.
Of any of the 5 branches now,
Yes.
because it's not just 4.
But
Yep.
yeah, I'm trying to think of who else we would bring back.
Space Force go hard.
I don't know, who else has like passed away that would be like a big. I hate to say, I feel like it's been a lot of like nothing Hollywood people that.
Betty White.
Like
Bring back Betty
yeah.
White.
Betty White, Ozzy,
Ozzy. Oh man, yeah. Oof.
Hogan.
They still got to figure out how Ozzy survived all these years.
I
Pure
know.
hatred. Just pure spite. He is literally your shirt. Just I exist out of spite. That's what he was.
Ozzy, right there. Yep.
God.
Yeah.
Imagine how long
Yeah.
Ozzy could have
Couldn't.
lived if he just took care of himself. Like, he lived to be that long
yeah.
abusing himself and all the drugs and alcohol. Imagine how long he would have made it if he was like a marathon runner. He would have lived to like 140.
But
Right.
maybe. Or he would have gotten hit by a bus.
Or that.
Honestly, that's why I want time travel. I'd love to be able to just like experiment with people at that point. Be like, I know you have this passion for music,
You're right.
but trust me, marathon running is the way to go. And just
Did,
compare. Just compare.
Did you ever watch that movie, The Time Machine?
No.
Yes.
I recommend it as
Which
a watch. The newer version from like early 2000s.
Okay, yeah, that was a decent one. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad.
Well, so I'll kind of give you a little bit of a spoiler. He keeps trying to go back to prevent an event, but no matter what, he cannot do it. So he just says, "Fuck it, I'm going to peace out," and just slams down the fucking thing.
And then goes way far in the future.
So
I'll have to check it out.
yeah, it's worth a watch. I think it's available somewhere on streaming.
Okay.
but it's worth a watch.
Yeah.
But, yeah. But that unfortunately brings us to the end of the episode. Did you guys have any closing things?
Let's hope we don't develop time travel, in which case life's gonna get real fucky. It's gonna get really fucking weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sometimes some things really are best left alone.
Yeah. I've said it several times in this show, and I'll say it again. Ian Malcolm from Jurassic Park said it best. People were too busy figuring out whether or not they could. They never stopped to think whether or not they should.
But that's how we got a whole generation of scientists now. Because they're all totally ignoring Ian. They're just going for it.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, wait, I can make dinosaurs? Oh, here we go.
Yeah. I really feel like people are too concerned with pushing boundaries, especially with things like AI. And I know we talk about AI quite a bit on the show, but it's one of those topics that it really is not getting the right kind of attention. I genuinely believe in my heart of hearts that it is going to be the reason we as a society fall. For whatever reason.
I thought it was going to be an idiocracy kind of thing.
Well, I mean, it may be a little bit of both, to be honest. But I think AI is probably going to lead the cause.
It's either AI or going to get another asshole scientist that tries to create another virus. They got to fucking stop that shit.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need another woohoo flu.
No one's telling them no. So, like...
Yeah.
Until someone does.
You getting it? Yeah.
Yeah. So if you've been partaking in the video for the show, I hope that you've enjoyed the graphics. Could you throw up the portal one?
The portal one?
Yeah.
I should have that.
You should. These are some of the ones I've been working on that I was going to use for the companion video.
Hold on. I will get it up here in one sake of a jiffy.
Yes, take your Viagra. So yeah, we've been as much as we talk shit about AI, it is a useful tool and has its merits, and this is one of them. You know, using video to image generation, something I've been learning how to do lately. At some point, we're going to have Mansley doing some more interesting things, but putting him in different scenes throughout history has been kind of fun. And having him do different things is, it's just been kind of nice.
Yeah.
So.
There we go. Boom.
One of the cooler ones was this portal, having him walking out of that thing as a time traveler. So, yeah. Fuck yeah. That's just, I love it. I'm going to make that one the star for a second. So, we might have to have a scene where Mansley's carrying Baggy at some point.
Yeah.
His emotional support bag.
His emotional support bag. Absolutely. I love it. So. Fuck yes.
You had some chromies for me.
Get the voice done up for him and just be like, put the chromosomes in the bag.
Okay.
So. All right. Well, folks, I think that's going to do it for us this week. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We will be back next week with another one. Or is next week one of our off weeks, or is everyone going to be?
I should be here.
I don't think we have an off week until around Christmas. Yes. So, okay. Yeah, end of the year, we're probably going to be off for a week or two. Just putting that out there. Because life's going to be life. So, yeah. But thanks again for hanging out with us. Again, we would love to hear some answers to those questions we had during the show. So send them our way on the socials, on the Discord, anywhere that you want to throw them at us. We'll read them. Try yourself some Dubby. Give it a shot. Let us know what you think. Again, it's Consume 10. We'll get you some money off.
Oh, yeah.
And keep your ears peeled for the information about the live show. And when that happens, we would absolutely love to see you guys there. But for now, that's going to do it. And we will see you all next week.
Bye.
Yay, bye.